Hey, buddy. Welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. I'm Nicholas Johns. This is my receding hairline. I giggle to myself now when I look at myself in the mirror. I never noticed it before until some girl tracked me down after like 6 months to insult me and had a laundry list of insults ready to go. She called me John Stamos with a receding hairline. I was like, what the fuck is she to the mirror and went, what the fuck? I think I realized something though, because of all this shit that I have growing. When I get frustrated with the mess that it is, I'll just rip shit out. And a lot of times it's the hair out front. I don't know. I'm hoping, at least. If I stop, then maybe it won't be so bad. What's really bad there? This is my co-star, Chico. Chico Rico. Poquito bandito. Oh, you okay? You okay? Okay, get up there. Come on, get up there. Get in your bed. Ooh. Uncle Rico's story time officially changed over from my 1 cent. To catch everyone up, it's basically just me venting and bitching and moaning and telling stories. What's going on today? Trying to dig myself out of the shithole that I was in. My truck has been a nightmare to diagnose. Figured out serpentine belt was fraying, making, a repetitive noise, and then something broke off in my catalytic converter and was banging around like a motherfucker. Now I believe it's lodged in the catalytic converter. And it's backed up. I hope. Made an appointment for at a cat converter place, and it's gonna be like just north of $300. Brought it into him, and he's like, "Hey, everything looks good." He calls me back. He's like, "Everything looks good," which is awesome. He's honest. He's like, "I don't want to do a bunch of work that you don't need." And I'm like, all right, I thought it was the cat converter, da 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 da. So I picked it up. The next day I'm driving around. He's like, yeah, there's no error codes. I said, yeah, I never got an error code. It was just making an ungodly noise. And next day I pick it up, driving around, and I'm picking a friend up from the airport, and then it starts making a repetitive noise, but it's not inside. It's not the belt this time. It sounds like it's underneath from the catalytic converter. Error code pops. I pull the code. It is cat converter. I'm driving back. I drive back to the original mechanic, and I pull in. I go, hey, right, da 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 da. I go, da da. We gotta isolate which cat converter it is. Can somebody come out and listen to my car right now? It's doing it right now. When I made the appointment, it wasn't doing it. So the head mechanic didn't know what was wrong. And she's like, yeah, we can't pull anyone to diagnose right now. So I'm like, fuck off. So I drive to Midas and was just blown away with their service. The manager was right out there. He's like, yeah, I'll take it out right now and take a look. Da 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 da. They put it up real quick. They're like, this and this and this is done. Da 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 da. And we're talking about pricing, and he's like, oh, I can get it done right now in the next couple hours. I was like, well, I didn't plan on being here for another, I'd already been there an hour, which is fine. He's like, oh, I'll diagnose it for free, which is rare now with mechanics. And he goes, oh, I'll call you a ride, complimentary ride. He had popcorn and shit out there, free water, just a really nice setup. And he calls me a ride right away, like boom, boom, boom. Lyft is like, we'll be there in 2 minutes. Bam. And I'm driving away, and I was like, yeah, I've never had a mechanic experience like that. Da, 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 da. It was really friendly. I'm talking to the Lyft driver, and I'm like, I just hope I don't fucking pay for it on the back end here, and they're quote me, a couple of grand to do this work. And he fucking calls me up. The mechanic calls me up, and he's like, yeah, $30.85. And I was like, $30.85? Because, again, my earlier quote at a cat converter specialist place, chop and shop, boom, they put it in and weld it just real quick, was 300 some dollars. So this guy's like 30.85, and I'm like, how much is it? And he's like 30.85, and I go, how much is it just for the cat converter, for the converter? No labor, nothing. Like, just real quick, how much is the price of that part? And he's like, $18.95. And I was like, $1,895. He goes, yeah. So I'm like, $30.85. I go, dude, I'm just gonna pull around. I was like, pull me, I was like, whip it around. I go, I'm coming back. I'm so sorry, but I just got $3,000 stolen from me. Da 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 da. I go, I know I shouldn't be driving on this, but I'll drive it back and figure out what the hell I'm gonna do. Figure out, prioritize what, and then I'll make an appointment. He's like, oh no, we'll do it. I'll finance you. Blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I don't want to make any decisions like this. So I pull up, and the lift lady's going, not going crazy, but she's kind of been out of shape. Because she's gonna lose her fare. Because she drove me all the way out to where I live, and then we came back, and she's like, there's no way to convert it to the trip. Like, you got to complete it and pick it up and da 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 da. Just a nightmare. So I'm gonna take it back to the original. I made an appointment with the original place. I'm like, just gonna, hey, replace this right catalytic converter for $300. Hail Mary. Hopefully that solves everything. But the door alarm jam is like inside the latch, so I can't fix that. With this, the price of being a single man with an extraordinary sexual libido. I don't know how I heard this. A weird, bump showing up on my wrist. They want me to stop moving it. Yeah, so I'm trying to dig myself out. Switch my cell phone provider 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm with Verizon. I just bent over and was like, give me the free phone and the 3-month lease that you have to do along with it. I'm looking at some land possibly in the mountains, and I figure Verizon's always the one with the best coverage, so I might as well go with Verizon anyway. So I went over there. So trying to get better, right, Chico? Chico got his chiclets chopped off, and he's feeling better. With this land, I'm gonna double dip, so I'm not gonna quit anymore at my job. I'm gonna work on this land, so it's got all the utilities and everything, and then I'll be able to double dip, work here, nice place in the sun, nice place in the mountain for a little bit. See how long I can do that. It's only a 3-hour commute, so that wouldn't be that bad. What was the whole reason why I wanted to do this podcast? I got retarded stoned. I had one of my energy smoothies. I portion off bananas and strawberries and freeze them. Then I go yogurt, OJ, and a little scoop of my pre-workout. The pre-workout is like cocaine, or similar to the effects of cocaine, from what I've heard. Disclaimer, I've never done cocaine. Realized I should probably not do this on camera. I might be, probably get my shit flagged. I don't know. I don't understand all of this shit. I just kind of release these just to vent. and figured I'll probably talk about some important shit someday. But I haven't promoted it with anyone. I got drunk over the weekend and told my couple friend about the podcast. So a bunch of my podcasts had 2 views, which makes sense. And then one of them I put out after I told her about it had 23 views, and then some dude commented on it. Some random dude commented on it. So I don't even know how people started, why there's views. I don't get it. But yeah, he's like, you suck. No, he wasn't like that. He was like, hey, pep it up. It was during my down periods, and I thought it would be important to capture me at one of my low points. And he was like, pep it up, dude. And he talked about Zed, I'm out. Because I did mention Balthazar briefly. He didn't even get to the brunt of it. I don't even think I talked about it. I just mentioned it. But I guess the dude's got a queasy stomach. But yeah. Russell Wilson went to Pittsburgh. I'm happy for him. I'm sure Tomlin will take advantage of him. It's been a while since Tomlin hasn't really had, since Big Ben. I'll bet you Mike takes. They could have a pretty good year next year, which would be good for Russ. He's kind of a nerd. I mean, he is a nerd, but pretty good guy. And I think he got a raw deal in Denver. I think Peyton came in and was like, I don't like him. And, he didn't have a bad year last year. And to have a fairly decent year on a shitty team is pretty impressive. So I think he'll have a rebound year. Everybody's hard on Dak Prescott, and I think Dak had an MVP season last year. If you look at his stats, who won it? Lamar won it. Because of that 5 touchdown performance, everybody was like, oh, MVP. But if you look at his passing stats, it wasn't too impressive. Yeah, you put the rushing stats on there and he's got something. But Dak didn't. I mean, he was up there with in MVP consideration, I would think. Kirk left Minnesota. So as a Packer fan, I don't need to worry about Minnesota or Chicago because Fields has gone there too. Which they kind of loaded up this year, and I think they got a better shot with Fields than some new guy coming in, especially if it's Caleb Williams. I'm not sold on that dude. He just seems really immature, like another Ryan Leaf. But who knows? We'll see. Can't talk about Caleb Williams on the internet because you're racist. And again, then just a ton of arguments and getting racist. It's just always it sucks that we're so we're more polarized now, and I don't think that's true. Just because the laws of the internet, the very vocal 10% are the kind of the trolls and da 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 da, and I'm guilty of it too. But I got caught up in the Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese argument, and it's amazing because you can look at either side of those comment threads and it's just all racist all the way across the board. And I don't know, I thought I'm on the Caitlin Clark side, but that's usually just because I go with whoever's more attractive. Just kidding, not really. Skylar Diggins is still the greatest basketball player of all time. But I was kind of paying attention to the Caitlin Clark thing and then the Angel Reese thing last year with the national title and everything. And it's awesome for women's college basketball, but I mean, ultimately, I'm like, Angel Reese is a celebrity just for talking shit, I mean, nobody outside of women's college basketball fans knew who Angel Reese was until she, did the thing kind of mocking Caitlin Clark, which is fine, But I just, man. Plus, she's ugly. I don't know why people are like, oh, she's got modeling options afterwards. I'm like, she's got eyes on the side of her head, man. She kind of looks like an alien. And then she's guilty of the whole women thing where they either they like purposely make themselves look worse with the eyelashes and the alien monster claws. I don't get it. I think it's more competition amongst the women themselves. They're like, oh, look at how big your eyelashes are. I will go bigger. Oh, look at your nails. I will go longer than you. I mean, ultimately, it's an attention thing, but they gotta realize, like, dudes are like, she's hot. If you get past the eyelashes and alien claws, she's still pretty hot. Guys don't find that attractive. It's fucking scary. Nobody wants their schnauze handled by those fucking claws. Freddy Krueger claws. No thanks. Oh, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Plus, I found out Angel was kind of a dumbass with the GPA thing, and I've seen that. I was at school. I went to UNO. I know, if you're an athlete, you show up on the first and last day. How hard is it to maintain higher, whatever GPA? They give it to you. Plus, your counselors make sure you're in all the easy classes. It's awesome that she's making, a bunch of money with that. We won't even go down that street. That's a fucking mess. But I don't even know how we got on this subject. Oh, the black and white thing. Man, I wish people would just look past it. Not the whole racial divide or anything, but realize that it's really not that bad. I had a girl who we would always talk about, the gymnast. Damn it. Simone Biles. Gabby Douglas. Simone Biles. And she started talking about how, she goes, it's amazing what she's done, considering, she's got all these obstacles, da 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 da. I'm like, what happened to her? And she's like, oh, all the stuff about the natural hair. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh yeah, she's always, it's always been this stuff about, her natural hair and da 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 and blah blah blah. And I go, she's never been, it's gymnastics. You can't penalize somebody for, their hair. And I'm like, plus, more people prefer natural hair than like the weaves and stuff like that and the fake wigs. You can get penalized for like a bad costume or whatever, but I'm like, she's not getting, and she's like, oh, you go on any, post or whatever, and people are always talking about ripping on her for her, her hair, and I'm like, I don't know, this is the first time that I've heard about this thing, and I kind of researched it, and it's a black thing, about this natural hair or whatever, but I still don't understand it. The premise of it is that people don't like the natural hair, i.e., just, the thicker black hair. And I don't think that's the case at all. Maybe for like the ultra racist, maybe. But even then, they wouldn't hire you just because you're black, versus whether or not you had fake hair. I don't get it. But she said, go to any post, no, these people are always ripping on her for her hair. And I go, well, that doesn't matter. One, she doesn't ever see this. These people never say anything to her face. A judge never says, I would have gave you a 9, but I don't like your natural hair. this is a world of, this is something that people troll on her for. She's never experienced penalizing. I'm sure there's been, judges from another country who are like, I'm not going to give her, inherently, they don't give her as good a score as possible because she's black. That's racism, you know. But nobody's ever like, oh, I didn't like her hair. So I'm talking to my ex-girlfriend. I'm like, da 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 da. This is just fucking trolls, you know. This is like racist trolls, the 10%ers that get on and are the most vocal, you know. One guy or girl has a fake anonymous profile, and they go to all the Simone posts or Angel Clark or Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark posts, and they're, natural hair or, Mayo skin. Depending on what side your racism tips over to. But, yeah, I was like, this is, these are haters. They're out there. And it doesn't matter if they're black or white. It's, the number one. It's like, go to any Tom Brady post, and they're going to be talking shit about, he's only good because of Belichick, and, inflate, oh, he likes his balls inflated, da 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 da. It's always going to be shit talkers out there. I mean, honestly, it's just another case of, what, if you're looking at things through a racist filter, it can be there. If you're gonna blame weird looks in public on racism, that's the way it'll seem. But I get weird looks when I walk into any towny bar where I live from white people just because I'm a stranger, I don't know. Got in an argument about Kobe. Like, you're racist. I'm like, no. Fucking Michael Jordan's the GOAT, He didn't have a size mismatch, and he was just a lot better than Kobe. My thing about Kobe is I got into it with this dude about his clutch shooting. Because everybody remembers that when he came out, he was horrible. He was throwing up air balls, at the end of games. Which, makes sense. You're a rookie. You got the spotlight on you. There's a lot of pressure. But then everybody, like, when they shoot, they're like, Kobe. And you remember him as at the back end of his career, and pretty much all through his career, as this cutthroat, clutch performer. And there was an old internet post about an argument about LeBron being a clutch shooter. And they took a demographic from like whatever year to whatever year. It was 8 or 9 years. And it wasn't at the beginning of Kobe's. And mind you, this argument was over LeBron versus Jordan being more clutch. And their stats were up here as far as shooting percentage. They tracked shots from people that have hit a game winner, not taken a game winner. You needed to have hit a game winner to be eligible for this list. So if you hit a game winner with, I think it was like 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3 seconds left, whatever, to win or tie the game, who had the best shooting percentage. And they tracked all of these shots at crunch time. And Kobe was last over this 8 or 9 year period. And this wasn't at the beginning of Kobe's career. This was like, I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years into it. So it was kind of like middle. So it didn't take into account a lot of his super clutch shots at the back end of his career, but he was by far the worst. 25% with the game on the line, he shot over this 9-year period. And mind you, it didn't take into his back end of his career when he was probably a lot more money, but it also didn't take into account his beginning year of his career when he was horrible. That's why I'm like, dude, not even in the running for greatest ever. Don't even talk about it. He was horrible clutch, and that's got to be a key ingredient, because if not, then we're giving an argument to anybody who doesn't perform in crunch time, which I think is one of the bigger attributes when talking about stuff like that. The GOAT. It's got to be a game time clutch performer, and Kobe was not that. So, what else do we got going on? We got the truck issue, working on it. Dude, stop, buddy. Switched cell phones. Stop it. Hockey, the league has disbanded. We got bounced. We were short the first week, and took out a win over one of our rivals, but we're always a lot better than them. And then lost in a really fun championship game to the team that we never have any problems with. So, would like to hoist the empty water bottle again. It's such a ghetto league that we didn't have a trophy last year. So when we won it, we took pictures with an empty water bottle. This year we lost to the Puckheads, and so we made sure that they got the empty water bottle and were able to take pictures of the empty water bottle. And then that league disbanded, and we popped over to a different league that has a pretty awesome bar and really great bar food. Cheese curds and wings are bomb. Just a little bit farther from home, which is no big deal. And then in my other league, we lost to my old team in the first week of the playoffs. And it's funny because this old team, the Nads, my old team, Strange Brood, has a sister team, the Nads, that would get just so pissed off at my team about too many ringers, even though I've, gotten rid of guys that were too good. So they've resorted to cheap shotting us, and that was the reason why the league disbanded. But they were cheap shotting us whenever we'd play against them because we had too many ringers. And their original team, the Brood, who I still love, all those guys on that team, but they brought in ringers this year. They got this one kid who's, I don't know, like 20, 21, 22, hat trick every game. So it's kind of funny that some of the same people get bent out of shape about a ringer, but they've got plenty of them. So that's hockey. I was going to quit and move away, decided against it, so rejoined the team, gave the team captaincy away to my good buddy, Gabriel. So team is in good hands with him, and I just paid for dues for full time, and we had our first game. It was a 6-6 tie, 7-7 tie, 6-6 tie. We lost in a shootout, but damn, it felt good to not have people blowing up my phone before the game. I didn't realize how much work being a captain is. People just texting me, calling me up for the dumbest shit. So that's good. But I think we're gonna watch this podcast. We made enough mistakes that might start talking about some important shit, some politics. The Orange Man. Oh my God. A little more racism, some veteran stuff to help veterans. I've got a buddy that I want to bring on for a podcast. We'll talk a little bit about my experience, and we'll see. Until then, remember, left lane is for passing. Peace out.